All right, ladies and gentlemen, the winner of Kentucky Derby 149 is, of course, Mage, and we are very pleased right now to be joined by some of the winning connections. Starting at the far end, we have Sam Hertzberg, part of the ownership group. We have Ramiro Restrepo. Ramiro helped to pick out the horse and make the purchase. We also have, of course, Gustavo Delgado Jr., whose father is the trainer of record and hopefully will be joining us here shortly, and Javier Castellano, the winning rider. Gentlemen, congratulations to you all. I think I would like to start with Javier. Your first Derby win in 16 tries. Tell us how it felt.
First of all, I would like to say thank you, God, Lord Jesus Christ, for giving me the opportunity. I feel amazing. I feel like I'm at the top of the world. It's a great feeling, and the one thing I never always been consistent in my career. I would like to be. I never give up. I mean, sometimes you feel embarrassed a little bit when you been tried so many times and you don't see the result. Sometimes you go down a little bit, but I didn't give up. I always try to be positive and try to find the right horse to be participate in the biggest races in the world. Um, it's amazing when somebody they believe in you and they trust you and you put your hand and yourself, and I think that's one thing I always been grateful for all the team, Delgado team and Mr. Herbert. He gave me the opportunity to ride a horse, and I never forget that phone call I did it to him and Gustavo and all team, Ramiro, and give me the opportunity to ride a horse in the biggest race in the world, basically. And when I was in the jockey room and NBC put 0 for 15, Javier Castellano. And that moment, it gave me so much inspiration myself. And I think this is the year. I'm gonna break the year and I'm gonna win the race. I feel a lot of confidence in myself. I've been describing the race. I've been dreaming the race for many years. I only need a little opportunity to get it done, and I'm glad I did it.
And Javier, if you would humor us, can you just take us through the race in as much detail as you can recall?
Well, we have a plan. I believe the horse tended to doesn't break a little bit out of the gate for any reason. And the horse, he didn't break a lot of speed in the race. You can see a lot of horses, they got the same style, the same tactic speed. I took my time. I didn't rush just to let him go, break out of the gate and save all the ground the best I could in the first time and try let him develop the horse in the other way. And even the backside when tap it right, I felt it inside and tried to squeeze a little bit in between horses. And I didn't get panic. I could have rushed a little bit to go a little forward. I took my time with him because the way he ran the Florida Derby, it was a very, very impressive horse. He showed he got a lot of potential. He can do anything you can do it. And I believe in the horse and the team. Gustavo, he did a great job with the horse. And especially, we have a great conversation Thursday morning. Gustavo, myself, and Gustavo Jr. and all the connection and the stable. We talked for forever. And I think that it made me more feel comfortable when we have a great communication together and we put the pro, the con, and we put the positive, the negative, and I try to put everything together. And we have a plan. We have a plan A, B, C. Because when you go through the Kentucky Derby and when you have 20 horses, it's really, really hard handicap it for anyone. Jockeys, trainer, owner, anybody, because anything can happen in the race. If it would be breaking the horse out of the gate, would it be in the lead? But the horse, he missed a break. When I miss a break, I use my best judgment in the race. Try to win the race. I try to do the best for the horse and try to win it for the connection. And they believe me. They hired me to do the job. I got to do the best they can to win, to bring the horse to the win of the Kentucky Derby.
Well, we'll talk more about the running of the race, but Gustavo, I'd like to hear from you. And if your son wants to translate for us, that's fine. But initially, I would just like to hear from you and what you're feeling.
I'm very happy, very happy. And Javier say all. I haven't words but only for my team, for Mage, principal for Mage, for my owner, for my family. Yeah, I'm very happy to win to the Kentucky Derby. I love you so much. And my apologies for every people because my English no is very good. I prefer to talk with Ramiro and my son Gustavo Jr.
And Gustavo Jr., maybe you can talk to us about the development of this lightly raced horse this year and just the progression up to this race.
Pretty much about the horse. The horse is very talented. He always gave us that confidence that we had a horse for the Derby. As soon as I started breezing 5 furlongs, 6 furlongs, every time we asked him, he was fast. And not just that, horse is very smart. He's quiet, and he's the kind of horse that lets you do what you want with him, not the other way around. And I think that's the best quality of him. Other than that, you can bump him, and he will be right there. You can see his face, full of dirt. I mean, and he kept grinding, and that's what I like about the horse. So it gives you confidence.
Ramiro, congratulations. I want to hear from you and both what you're feeling, and then also after we hear about that, if you could encapsulate this ownership group and explain to everybody who all is a partner on this horse. But first, just how you're feeling.
You know, the emotions are just through the roof, obviously. The amount of friends that we all have. The ownership group is 4 different groups from 4 different backgrounds, all different age ranges, nationalities. I mean, it's one heck of a melting pot that came together for this horse. So the amount of celebration that's going to go on, I can't even describe it going forward. But it's just Gustavo and I have been trying to raise our profiles. Gustavo Sr. as a trainer has had so much success in South America, and he's come here and has always had a small boutique stable and has always wanted to increase his presence to have more quality horses and with a lot more owners. Myself, as a bloodstock agent who has been trying to increase his profile as well, we kind of combined forces 3 years ago to start buying horses domestically and internationally and try to invest a little money and use the relationships that I have here to bring in people that are willing to have the faith to go forward with us and take the swing. This is a game that there's so many successful people that are buying in bulk at the highest end of the sport, and I feel like they have unlimited bullets, and I have a musket. You know, we have a musket, so when we buy, we almost can't miss. Gustavo and I went to the Fasig-Tipton Timonium 2-year-old sale, and we narrowed it down to 2 horses. And if you can believe it, it was this Good Magic colt or the City Light filly that ended up being Mimi Kakushi that ended up in the Oaks. And we had a budget in mind, Gustavo and myself, to start bidding. When it got to that number and I started to hesitate, Gustavo took out his whip, cracked me two times and said, "Let's go, don't stop bidding." And we went up to 290,000, which in the real world, it's a lot of money. But in horse racing, it's just it's a respectable number, but it's by no means a lot of money. And we ended up getting the horse. And since we went over budget, we needed to put together an ownership group. I immediately called Sam Herzberg of Sterling Racing. He's in real estate down in Miami. I've known him for over 10 years. We have some great mutual friends in common. Sam actually had a Derby horse, Black Onyx, that qualified for the Derby, but scratched the morning of. And I know Sam's been chasing the Derby for over a decade to try to get in. And Sam didn't hesitate and jumped right in. And then I had met Chase Chamberlain and Brian Dockstader of Commonwealth, who are an exciting young ownership group. They have a piece of country grammar and have won some high-profile races. They're very excited, and they have a huge micro-share company that has a lot of fans and micro-investors that are super passionate, and it's a great platform. And they jumped in immediately as well. So the 4 of us were able to cover the 4 bases of this horse. And, you brought a guy from California, from Tennessee, Sam from South Florida, myself from Miami. I call him the big puma. If you look at him, he looks like a puma with his white mane, and Puma Junior. So, and the pumas, and we came together, and brother, here we are.
Well, now let's get some questions from the room. Who wants to start it off? Dave Grenning, if you could introduce yourself and tell us your outlet, please.
Hi, how you doing, guys? Congratulations, David Grenning, Daily Racing Form. This is for the Delgados, if you would. A couple of years ago, you had a horse, Caracaro, who almost got to the Derby, but he got injured and couldn't make it. So I was wondering, with that in mind and seeing Forte come out, could you empathize with them, first of all, and secondly, your thoughts when Forte came out, being that you were second to him twice or once?
Well, we faced Forte a couple of times in Florida. There's no doubt his talent. We respected the horse a lot coming to this race. At the end of the day, I think the horse is going to be fine from what I've been hearing. We'll face him down the road. I mean, we lost a horse at the beginning of the week. He's not coming back. I forgot the name of the horse. The one that passed. So, yeah. So that's when I really feel like there's no chance. Forte, hopefully, is going to be fine, and we'll face him later again.
With Caracaro, did you have those to get to make it in here? And did you think he would have been even second if his belonged?
Yeah, correct. And especially going to the Derby, he gave us pretty much like this horse. He was getting better with races, lightly raced as well. Caracaro, very talented. It's a big difference, soundness-wise. The other horse, I mean, we always were like working against issues that he had, but with this horse, it's a totally different thing.
For Junior,
This is Tom Padula.
for Junior, could you talk about how much the Derby was on your father's mind when he left Venezuela to train in South Florida?
Well, I think my dad, with the success of Cañonero II, as you know, Venezuelan connections that won the Derby, he grew up in a generation where everybody was talking about it, and he always felt like he was he could accomplish that, and he always. I remember when I was a kid, because he would when he was successful down in Venezuela, he would always tell me, one day we should go to the States and try and win one of those races. And it came to that point when he won it all down in Venezuela and the Caribbean, because they have races where they get together. And it's been 8 years that since we got here. This is the fourth time that we qualify with a horse for the Derby. Third time that we race, because that horse that you mentioned before, Caracaro, couldn't race. And now we're here.
Gustavo, how big of a story will this be in Venezuela?
Oh, I mean, the combination between Javier and my dad, I know for a fact that he's gonna bring a lot of people, and pretty much the energy of that, he felt today. He felt today because you knew you have a whole country was backing you up.
Yes, sir.
Lachlan McLean, Spectrum News. Javier, you said the key was that you took your time. How difficult was that to do when you missed the break? How anxious do you get when you're behind in a field that large?
I believe not at all. I think I have a lot of confidence in the horse. And I took my time. We have a plan. We talk together and we describe the race. What happens if you miss the break? And one thing, Gustavo, he gave me a lot of confidence. And the way we talk, he say, take your time, enjoy the ride, don't rush the horse, let him develop the horse. And we all the conversation we have it together, I feel a lot of confidence in myself and the horse and the connection, and the horse has been training. Gustavo has been very successful all his career, the way he developed the horses for the long distance. And I have a lot of confidence in that because I knew I don't want to rush the horse in the beginning of the race. I just want to let him develop the horse and don't get panicked. Let him develop the horse. I know it's going to be a lot of speed, but you have to be aware, turn off all the horses can start kind of backing up a little bit. You have to be aware, don't get in trouble. And that's what I think I was very aware, turn off horn, don't get struck between the horses, and get the clear path and let them run the horse. Because I knew when I'm going to ask it, I'm going to have a lot of horses. But the need, I think the horse is going to give me the best run ever.
Javier, down the backside, it looked like you had a lot of horse. I mean, he was pulling on you. I mean, just talk about the feeling when you know you've got a lot of horse under you and when you knew that, like, he was loaded for the stretch.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great feeling when you're in the backside, the horse, he pull, he grab the big, he follow the other horse, he grab you in the better spot. And you feel like you the pilot. You have to control the horse the best you can. Don't lose your energy. You have to wait for turn off a horn and let it safe for all the best you can. In the meantime, you have to be aware what the horses are developing himself. And one of the horses you have to be aware was in my target was Tappy Tries, but Tappy Tries I didn't see around. In my view, it was right behind me. I tried to move before he make the move because I knew it's gonna come at some point. And I always try to be analyzing and handicapping the rate the best I can to the jockey and the horses, every single move. And when turn off, I knew I'm gonna win the race in the 3-8, but you just let him roll a little by little, because I knew when you ask it, you push a button, the horse is gonna give me everything he has. The way he been trained, the way the horse, I saw every single work, the way he sing, the way he galloped. Especially, it's a great connection because I want to tell you one thing. I want to give credit to the exercise rider. It's JJ Delgado. He did a great job with the horse. He been riding horses for many years. He was a jockey before. Now he's galloping the horse. It's a great connection. JJ Delgado, he rode with my dad. That's a small word. And my dad, he rode with Gustavo. I feel like I think that's meant to be. I think I'm going to win the Derby this year. I think it's all the connection. And thank God, here you go. We're here. We celebrate and try to bring the race to my country, Venezuela. It's really important for us, our country.
Brian and Chase, right? All right, congratulations to you two. They're the co-founders of Commonwealth, the microshare ownership venture that Ramiro mentioned. We'll get to them in a few minutes as well, but other questions from in the room? Yes, sir.
Jim Trusby, Wall Street Journal. Javier, you had a big day today. You won the Derby. You won the American Turf. So another big story this week. It's been a tough week here at Churchill Downs. Can you talk about the condition of both courses, the dirt and the turf?
It seemed to me the both turf they're really good shape. I mean, the turf is amazing. All the horses they run good and being very fair. I think I give a lot of credit to Churchill Downs. They've been taking the track and the horses and being thing happen on races, Unfortunately, this weekend, a lot of horses was going on. I don't know. The horses, unfortunately, they go through to tough time, especially this weekend. But nothing to do with the track. I think the track's in great condition. I won one grade one race early in the grass and the turf. And it's a great condition, nice, very smooth. And horses come from behind, horses speed. I mean, it's very fair for every single one as well. In the dirt too, run the dirt with Yorichira, and the horses come from behind too. I mean, it's been pretty fair, very fragile, good fragile track. It's in great condition.
Claire Galafaro with the Associated Press. Given the number of horses that died this week, Were you at all hesitant to race Mage today? And do you worry about whether this could hurt the sport of racing?
Go ahead.
It's a very difficult subject, when it's, especially in the climate of 2023, we are very sensitive and to these unfortunate instances. All I can say is we do our best to take care of our horses. We treat them better than we treat our children. And we had full confidence in the soundness of our horse. We trained them all. He's been training here for 2 weeks and actually has been flourishing over this racetrack. He's come back super sound, and the state veterinarians were checking him regularly per all the other horses as well. And our horses, the only one that I can speak about completely, was thriving on this course. As far as the tragedies that occurred, it's a very difficult subject to touch upon, and I'm sure there's going to be some investigations done as to the reasons behind that, and hopefully that provides a few more answers. But all we can do is just focus on ourselves and our barn and the top care that we give our horses, and how well they responded to it while you're here, because we don't only just have Mage here, we have 2 other horses as well that have been training over this course and will be running here in the next couple of weeks as well, and they've all been taken to the course just fine.
Yes, sir.
CL Brown with the Courier-Journal. This question is for Gustavo Jr. You mentioned writing a note to yourself about winning a year ago, about winning the Derby this year. What kind of gave you the confidence to feel like you guys were that close in attaining it?
Yeah, well, that's a personal subject, but pretty much yes. I came to a point where I starting to believing in pretty much in myself, and that we were as capable as anybody to win big things. And so since for certain period now we are thinking big, acting big, and expecting big things to happen, and here we are.
Ramiro, Dan Saravalli, Enterprise Sports. Can you just take us through what the feeling was going into that final stretch?
So luckily I've been, as not only being, the owner, but also feeling responsible of getting these boys and Sam in on the team. I've spent a lot of time with the barn, kind of being a liaison amongst the ownership group, and talking to Gustavo a lot about the horse's strategy and what our plans are with this horse. We've always known he's very talented, but he has, at the start, not perfected what he could do. At the Florida Derby, Gustavo told the rider, have patience when you get out of the gate. The horse isn't afraid of kickback. And and the way that I train him, he'll start looking for the race himself. And that's something that sometimes the general public doesn't understand. These horses are trained. They know the poles. They know where the finish line is. They're taught to go on and look for the finish line. Gustavo is a PhD expert on getting horses ready to run 1.25 miles, 1 mile and 3/16, 1.5 miles. That's what we call his bread and butter. When the horse broke and Javier, after that, we had this talk on Thursday. I have a cool picture of Javier almost like like talking with the horse too, where we went over the game plan, let him break, and everything was going according to plan. I kept looking at the clock. They went 22, 45, 110, which were fast fractions, and the horse was just finding his own rhythm, and that gave me confidence. Javi's ridden Ghost Zapper, Honor Code, Bernardini. I mean, these are Hall of Fame horses that are the Michael Jordan, Larry Bird, and Magic Johnson of our sport. So never did I ever think anything other than we were in great hands with having someone with his timing. And as he started slicing through horses, it was reminiscent of a ride that Jerry Bailey gave on Sea Hero when I was in high school. And that's what came to me. I'm like, Javi's picking him off. And when they turn for home and you see that the horse, Javi pushes the button and the horse is going, then we all become armchair jockeys. You know, I'm there chirping and riding them. And we're all bringing him home. And you have all these jockeys up here as well, up in the stands. And so many more at home in Miami and in Venezuela. And when these boys are from California to Kentucky, and so many friends that are here in our adopted home of Kentucky. And we all brought him home. It was just magic, man.
Jason.
Jason Frakes with the Courier-Journal. For whoever wants to answer, can you tell us the story of this horse not racing as a 2-year-old?
No, you know, the horse came out of a 2-year-old sale in May at Fasig-Tipton Timonium, and it's always standard practice for us after going through the NFL Combine of a 2-year-old sale to just give them some time off. We gave him about 2 months off. Just turned out to power up. We brought him over to the Thoroughbred Training Center in Lexington, in Paris, just outside of Lexington, Kentucky. And Gustavo's a very patient trainer. We never say to ourselves, we're going to focus on Saratoga in August or, you know, Keeneland in October. It's always let the horse dictate when he's going to achieve his top level of fitness. Towards October and November in Kentucky, the weather started changing where it started getting, just a little more rainy, a little more damp, more mud. And with a baby especially, you just want to take your time and have all the ideal conditions. Since Florida is home for us, we do 70 months out of the year in Kentucky and 4 or 5 months in Miami for the winter meet. We just started doing the planning. When can this horse debut? Because technically, he could have been ready to run end of November, December. The condition book, which is just a calendar of races that the racetrack releases, Gulfstream released their scheduling and had a maiden special weight race on Pegasus Day. And that was just targeted by Gustavo. Could the horse could have raced January 7th or January 4th? Sure. But Gustavo has a flair for loving to run on big days. And he told us, and while some of us were saying, well, let's pick an easier spot, and Gustavo was like, no, we're going to Pegasus Day and running there. And so many high-profile connections put forth their best babies to run on a big day like Pegasus down in Miami, with just the media coverage and the buzz at the racetrack. And we faced some really nice horses that day. Bourbon Resolve came out of there and won at Keeneland in his next start. And Perform won the Federico Tessio, which was a qualifier for the Preakness. So as time went on, we saw it was a really live race. So it wasn't necessarily that the horse had any physical setbacks or any ailments, to wrap up your question. It's just that Gustavo was a patient guy and, let the horse take it there little by little. Obviously, the move to Kentucky to Miami was another little just reset of time. But when he saw the Pegasus race on that day at the end of January, he just called it. That's where I'm going, and that's where we ran.
Sam, we haven't heard from you, and you look like a very satisfied man right now with your mint julep sitting in front of you. What have you been feeling in the last half hour, 45 minutes?
Well, ecstasy. I mean, for me, this is like 10 years ago. I had a horse named Black Onyx, and we came to the Derby, and we were feeling really good. And then he twisted his ankle the day before, and we had a scratch. And I don't have to tell you how depressed you get when something like that happens. This is the Derby, Some people, I don't care who you are, never make it to the Derby. Here, I had a little barn, So it's been 10 years, and Ramiro calls me. I'm in California. He says, I just bought a horse. He goes at the Mid-Atlantic sale. I think he's the best good magic in the country. And he said, yeah, I'll take 125%, And to come back here 10 years later and not only get in the Derby, but win the Derby. I don't know what to say. It's just magical, like the name Mage. Gustavo. Ramiro for an hour. We were on the phone thinking of a name, And Ramiro comes up with, I got a good one. He goes, Mage. I said, what does Mage mean? He goes, wizard. It means he's a magician. I said, I love it, you know. And it was available from the Jockey Club, and that's his name. And he is a magician. He's a wizard. I mean, and, you know, thanks to the great team we have here, Gustavo Jr. and Senior, and I mean, JJ and Ramiro, unbelievable. I mean, it all came together today. And what can I say? Happiest man in the world.
Sam, very quickly, I mean, you're one of the few people based on Black Onyx that could probably really feel what Mike Rapoli was feeling this morning. And now here you are 10 years later with your Derby winner. I mean, what would you say about that situation?
You're 100% right. You know, I saw Mike walk by while we were sitting in our box, and I wanted to kind of, he was going so fast, I wanted to grab him, you know, and say, I know exactly how you feel, you know. But believe me, I feel bad for him, and, you know, but Mike will come back, you know. I'm sure he'll have a great horse next year in the Derby. I wish him the best.
Other questions from in the room? Yes, sir.
Thank you. José Donis, Al Día en América. La pregunta es para Javier y para don Gustavo. ¿Podrían decirnos en español cómo se sienten, especialmente para los cientos de trabajadores y comunidad latina que ayudan a hacer posible uno de los shows deportivos más grandes del mundo? Could you tell us in Spanish a few words about how you feel, especially for all the Latin people that help put together one of the biggest sport events in the world?
Para nosotros de verdad es una gran emoción porque en verdad, como tú dices, quizás el 80-90% de la mano de obra que trabaja con los caballos aquí en Estados Unidos pertenece a Sudamérica y nosotros los latinos en este momento pues estamos pasando un gran momento, sobre todo hoy, en haber ganado el Derby de Kentucky, cuando la combinación prácticamente es suramericana. En verdad este premio también es dedicado a todos nosotros los latinos que hemos estado trabajando por mucho tiempo aquí en este país, que nos ha dado las puertas para poder tratar de hacer una carrera y que poco a poco lo hemos estado logrando. De verdad me siento muy contento y felicidades para todos ellos también.
Gentlemen, I've received word that Governor Beshear requests your presence over at the Derby Museum. But before you go, we have to ask about Baltimore and the Preakness. You haven't had a lot of time to think about it, but your first thought, maybe Gustavo, what do you think of the Preakness?
I prefer to wait they could come back the horse at my barn. And today we decided, depending the horse, right? This is the more important is the horse come back. It's a bet. And Wednesday decided with my owner, with my people, with my team, the horse. This is the more important. Come back the horse.
You've won 3 Triple Crowns.
It's possible.
You know how to do it.
And it can happen right now.
If these folks want to come out and follow up in the morning, what would be a good time to come and follow up? What time will you be at the barn tomorrow? Hopefully you'll all be there.
9 is good. 9 is good time.
All right. Congratulations once again.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Mage, winner of the Kentucky Derby.